This is a concept that I might have to explain a little bit more than I'd like, and give some preamble. Um, at this point, it must have been about 5, 6 years ago. Wow. There was a woman I used to talk to. I gave her the nickname Triple L, and basically she came at the backdrop of just years of me being sick of, you go and you ask out some woman on, the computer or real life, and then usually after some elongated period where they're talking to you, weeks or months, they say they're not interested, and then you have to start all over. Just how ridiculous I thought it was back then to try getting a date. And during my exchanges with her, she predicted that one day I would change my mind about this, and just I've always said, for me to, like, I'm open to evidence, right? If you show me a pattern of something that is demonstrating a change in the way that people act or how things are. But by every account and every factual metric that has been applied, where we talked about how, most young men in the US are single, there's just not a reason to subscribe to any belief that this is suddenly a thing that would be desirable for me, especially since, as I mentioned in my long distance and Rod and Society videos, the one holdout to still even want to ask out women was the desire to have a family. And when you meet these different chicks that are against doing that, there's no point. Like, even if you theoretically had one of them say they like you back, the fact that they're against doing these long-term things makes me not want to invest in them, and whether that's in terms of time or what other resource you could think of. But that's a nice segue into this conversation I had with this lady on Discord about 2 weeks ago, tail end of January. And she mentioned to me that when she was going to some doctor to try getting her tubes tied, the doctor said, we can't do this, you're too young, you might change your mind. Now, she was trying to say it as, like, I guess, in support of, the belief that people shouldn't try to ignore someone's arguments on the basis of how old they are. Um, when it comes to that, however, I am sympathetic towards the doctor because uh, performing a surgery like that, something you possibly can't come back from, is a pretty major thing to do at whatever the girl's age was that she tried to go in there. And also, a woman who doesn't want to get pregnant can just take birth control pills, uh, along with not having relations. I mean, there's plenty of stuff they can do to dodge having kids if they truly do not want them. Besides that, so I wasn't really won over by that, but I agreed with the idea of, if someone says they don't want to do something or they believe this or whatever, I think it's much more productive to address what they're saying. So, like, I talked about how I've been noticing a larger trend of these girls who say that they don't want to have kids, and I've never once tried to argue with any of them about it, tried to debate any of them about it, um, because I just don't see what the point of it. Like, if it doesn't affect me, I don't really care. Um, I don't think it's of any great societal loss if some random woman from another town or state or country doesn't want to have kids. The only time I've ever been annoyed by it is if it was one of the few times where I've tried to, I guess, been interested in one of them romantically, and that just immediately torpedoes my desire to be with one of them. But it's one of those, again, one of those things where if I just hear it, maybe the person, I guess, in some theoretical sense, could change their mind. But if they do or do not, it has no effect on me. That's why when I was talking about Triple L, I couldn't understand why this woman who did not like me romantically would have a problem with me saying, yeah, I'm done bothering trying to start up any of that nonsense ever. Just it didn't make any sense, didn't add up. But there's a lot of like weird stuff that happens with them, just trajectories that don't make any don't have any feasible conclusion if you're looking at this stuff in a logical way. But no, it's a trend I've been picking up on where people respond to a person's argument not with a rebuttal, not with points that are addressing what they have to say and then, taking what their argument is and then, responding to it. It is, okay, this person says this, how old are they? Okay, never mind. Case dismissed, case closed. And it's funny too because they get to LARP like they're these elder experienced geniuses when they're not proving anything to that person at all. Like I would never do this, but if I were making the case for why someone should have kids, right, I would first try to hear why the person doesn't want them, and that's been a variety of reasons. Like, some don't want to experience pregnancy, some think that they'll be bad parents. There's a whole bunch of reasons to go into it. But if I were attempting to hear someone out on that and engage in some debate, which again I would never do, I would at least respond to what specific things are causing them to not want to do that. I wouldn't just go, this person is, this age, so let me just kind of laugh at them. Yeah. It's really sad because, like I said, a lot of things are what's a good way of putting it? They're not stuff that a person just comes up with in a day, right? It's usually over the course of some experience that's not pleasant. And I think you'd have a much more meaningful dialogue if you heard out the person on what they're saying, as opposed to just, again, taking this thing that they have no control over and going, oh well, of course, I can swat that away now. It's even stupider when you consider that, when you sit there, like, oh, this person has these views about romance because of their age. Well, hell, there are people that are that person's age that are still engaging in this. So clearly it's not their age that makes them believe this. It's their experiences. Oh, man, it's, that's one of the reasons why I said society is rotten, right? Because people, like, even on things of just conversation, they fail, right? They can't even respond to what someone is saying, like actually talk to them. And this isn't some internet troll, right? This isn't somebody that just leaves a comment on a video and then writes something stupid and, vanishes forever. You're talking about someone that you're going to sit in calls with for possibly hours and they want to ask you all, and it's like, they can't even give you the courtesy, right? The respect of, okay, this is your opinion. Here's my response to it. No, it's, oh, you just said your opinion. Well, you're only this age. It's like a nice little smoke screen for them to dodge, respond to anything. I guess I'll do that from now on. Like, whenever someone complains about not having a job or not having anywhere to live, oh, well, they're only 36. Maybe when they're 56, they'll have these things. It's a sad state of modern interactions when people are doing those types of things, like when their rebuttals are these like non sequiturs over details that have nothing to do with what someone is actually saying. But I already said, LBJ had the great society, I have the rotten society.